Today is October 11th, also known as National Coming Out Day. The Human Rights Campaign sent me this snazzy t-shirt, which really inspired me to make a video for you guys touching base on the topic of coming out. I already have my video that I made a few years ago called Coming Out Tips. I'll put the linky links right here. Click it. But I realized I never really told you guys an in-depth story of how I came out. An important thing to know is coming out is a process. There are some people who just come out to everyone they possibly know in one day and get it over with, but for some people it takes years coming out to different groups of people. It took me a total of 3 years to come out to everyone. I started to realize I like girls when I was 13 years old. As if that year wasn't already awkward enough. But wait, it gets better. I went to a small, private, religious, Jewish school. But at the time, I had a friend at my school who identified as bisexual. When I was 14 years old and we would pass notes back and forth in class, remember that? One note I passed to her was telling her that I liked girls. And that was the first time I ever told someone else about my sexual orientation. And then I kept that note and I hid it in my closet in my bedroom, and eventually I tore it up and put it in water and flushed it down the toilet so it could never see the light of day. When I was 14, it was an experimental stage for me in terms of finding out who I was in regards to my sexual orientation. So I went to drama camp, I started making friends who were LGBTQ+. Pretty much all of my friends that did not go to my Jew school knew I was gay when I was 15 years old. Everyone besides my immediate family and my school knew I was gay. First people I came out to were my other gay friends. So I sat down with 2 of my gay guy friends at separate times and told them. Now, of course, a common question was I bi? Was I gay? Was this girl the one exception and I was actually straight? But I knew I was gay. I never had that attraction towards guys. I mean, the closest thing to a crush I ever had on a guy was, I had a crush on Ash from Pokemon. But then again, the person who voiced Ash was a girl, so. One of the people that mattered most to me when I was coming out was my best friend, Lauren. Lauren was a year older than me, so she had her license before me. We would drive off and go get McDonald's sundaes and eat them in her car. Thug life. And I started dating this girl. We'll call her Jay. This is hard. I wish I could just say their names, but I can't. So I was in the car with Lauren, and I'm finishing my hot fudge sundae, and I look at her, and I tell her that, you can see how awkward this is for me. I told her Jay and I kissed. And Lauren had probably the best reaction I could have ever hoped for. Lauren's exact words were, "Oh, you make such a cute fruitcake." And to this day, she still calls me fruitcake. A person who really helped me come out of the closet and really accept my orientation, to be proud of it, was someone who really knew where I was coming from and has gone through the same process I have, which was my next door neighbor, Jody. We both came from Jewish families, we both had one sister, pretty much all of the same things, and we were both pretty feminine, so no one just assumed that we were lesbians. But Jody really helped me come to terms with my orientation and accepting who I was. She would sneak me the L word in my lunchbox. So I could watch them at home. She gave me resources, she gave me information, she told me everything from how to protect yourself in sex, to gay clubs, to the gay environment, to coming out, to being gay in the Jewish community and non-Jewish communities and everything, and it was so helpful. I seriously don't know where I would be if it wasn't for Jody. I was pretty active in the LGBTQ+ community in Fort Lauderdale. I would go to Wilton Manors, I would go to LGBTQ centers, I would make lots of LGBTQ+ friends. One of my best friends at the time and I actually hosted a talent show, and all the money that we raised for that went to LGBTQ+ charities for LGBTQ youth centers and stuff like that. But then the day came where I had to come out to my family and Jew school. Something you guys need to know, I am a terrible liar. I am probably one of the worst liars ever. There's honestly no point in me even trying to lie because I can't. It sucks. I was sneaking out a lot. I wasn't doing bad things, but I would go to LGBTQ+ events, drag shows and stuff like that. But the lying really got to me, and my parents knew I was lying, and it was just a really depressing time. So 2 of my friends sat me down because I was at my all-time low and told me, just tell your mom. You have to tell your mom. So it was maybe 11 something at night. I called my mom into what we had at the time was our playroom, and I told her that I was gay as I was bawling, and the first thing she said was, "I know." I asked my mom why she didn't just bring it up then, because I was bottling this in for years. She said that she wanted me to be comfortable going to her about it, that she just had so much respect for my comfort level and when I was ready to come out. She told me she was fine with it, that she didn't care. She offered to bake a cake to go to a youth group. My mom was so beyond awesome and supportive. My sister was mad at me, not because I was gay, but because I didn't tell her. She was very accepting. She's such a good ally. She always asks me about what girls I'm dating. She's like queen of straight against hate. She's absolutely fantastic. My dad was not thrilled about it. He wasn't against it. One of the main reasons my dad sent me to a private Jewish school when we weren't really religious was because he was concerned about me dating a non-Jewish boy. I mean, technically that worked out. I swear I've never dated a non-Jewish boy because I've only dated girls, but he would ask me questions about my straight guy friends who I would hang out with, saying, well, wouldn't you like to date him or him? And I'd be like, Dad, half these guys are gay. No. There was a short period of time where I was kicked out of my house for a bit, but that was just because my dad reached a certain point of frustration. My mom was trying to keep the peace. I didn't want to feel oppressed, so I ended up staying at Lauren's house for a bit, even though she was in college at the time. That's how close we were friends, that her parents, like, housed me for a bit. Eventually, my Tumblr got kind of popular, which I never really anticipated whatsoever, and people at my school started finding out. The girl who actually started to out me to everyone was the girl who I confided in when I was 14 in that note saying that I was gay, when she at the time identified as bi, so I kind of felt like that was a stab in the back. I went to use the bathroom during my marine biology test when I was a senior. Pretty much this girl cornered me. She called me a dyke. She told me that she would beat me up if I ever looked at her with my gayness ever. I went to the bathroom hysterically crying, and when one girl was comforting me, she had the nerve to come in the bathroom and tell the girl to get away from me because I was a dyke. I was absolutely devastated, crying in the bathroom, and one of my best friends at my school, Jessica, came and sat next to me, and before I even told her why I was crying, she just said that she knew, that everyone knew, that it was okay. My favorite teacher was okay with it. My friends that really mattered were okay with it. I was made fun of by some, but some people were actually really nice. Through all of that, I'm here, I'm out, I'm very proud of who I am. It took a lot to get here, but I made it, and that's what's important to me. It's great that our country is getting much more liberal and open-minded, but we still have to remember that coming out still matters. I know that my coming out story was a lot easier than some people's. I know it was a lot harder than some. But every single coming out story matters. Every single one is just as important as the other, and they're all a part of forming who we are as people, not just gay people. So whether you're coming out to yourself, your friend, your neighbor, your parents, just be proud of who you are. Happy Coming Out Day, no matter how far along you are in the process. You're part of a community that loves you, and each and every one of you are beautiful just the way you are. The links for my Tumblr, my Twitter, my Facebook, my merch store, my P.O. box, all that good stuff will be in the description down here. Happy coming out. I love each and every one of you. Bye, guys.